Welcome back to Here's the Takeaway podcast. I'm your host, Kim Bindel. Today's guest started out on track to be a great business success and live a comfortable life until God pulled his heart to use his talent for business to be a part of the Dignity Made movement that fights trafficking by creating dignified jobs along with economic development to coconut farmers. Looking forward to hearing his story. Please welcome to the podcast, CEO of Dignity Made, Erik Olson. Hey, friend.
Hello, Kim. Nice to meet you.
It's so good to meet you too. And I'm excited to hear from you about Dignity Made. But before we get to that, such an incredible organization. Talk about that story. I kind of alluded to it in your introduction about the path you thought you were on and then where it took a sharp right turn. Talk about your story.
Yeah, so I was a business major at Azusa Pacific University out in California, and I was all set to, start a business or climb the corporate ladder. And I was really, kind of motivated by comfort and security. And like so many of us are.
Mm-hmm.
And but I felt this tug in my heart to go serve the poor for a year after college. Ended up in Iraq, of all places.
Wow.
I mean, I had never met a Muslim before. My girlfriend had just broken up with me, and I'd never been out of the country before. So this was really a terrible idea. My parents were really worried, and this was when Iraq was really blowing up. But something happened that year that I just saw this extreme poverty for the first time. And coming back, I felt like I was at this fork of the road. Or what do I do? Do I stick to the plan of comfort and security, or do I kind of go down this new uncharted path of following my heart and helping the poor? And that led to the next 9 years doing Christian work around the world, helping people in really hard situations. And so, and since then, I'm really glad I made that choice because we've seen a lot of impact over the years.
It's an exciting journey, scary journey. I can relate with your parents. Like, where are you going? What are you doing? I thought we had a plan. And I think a lot of us can relate to God kind of disrupting the plan, which is always a good thing. It always seems to stretch us and help us to grow. And I came across this wonderful quote from you because we're going to get into Dignity Made, this organization that you are the big leader of the whole thing. But so many people are involved with this, including people like me and others listening right now who can contribute and make such a huge difference. And we're talking about helping those who do not have means for daily survival, pretty much. This is your quote. You said, it's not enough to say, we're going to give you a fish so you can eat today. It's also not enough to say, we'll teach you how to fish, because most of these farmers already have skills and knowledge. The real problem is they don't have access to the lake. Explain that and talk about how Dignity Made came to be.
Yeah, I'll start with the story of the Tamog family. We were sitting in their bamboo hut talking about life. We'd already built an orphanage and a high school, and we're working on some clean water. And still, we could tell that there was more to be done. We weren't satisfied with the work that we were doing. And so we were asking a lot of questions to see, was there something deeper that we were missing? And the Tamog family, Romer and Jovi, were parents of 3 children, and they were on a limited diet of rice, beans, okra. The kids were malnourished, often sick from the water. They had no money for doctors or medicine, and half the time they went to school, they had diarrhea. And the parents, they had dropped out of school to provide for their family. Mm-hmm. And the kids were on track to have to do the same thing because they just weren't making it. And they were living one bad harvest or one bad typhoon from kind of starvation. And the mom, Jovi, she figured the only way to make ends meet was to go get a contract job far away in the Arabian Peninsula where she'd be a maid. But she was really scared because she had heard many women were abused or raped by their employers, and others, this is where trafficking begins. They get tricked in, they get promised a job, but then tricked into it. And this family, they go to church, but it's really hard to believe in a loving God when you have to listen to your children cry themselves to sleep at night. And so we talked, and as we were walking out of his bamboo hut, I happened to ask a different question that wasn't on my list, but I said, Romer, what's your biggest hope and dream for your life? And I thought he would talk about his kids graduating high school because education is important, or that they'd be able to build a home that was, concrete or cinder block, because every time a typhoon would come, they just hold their children just praying that this bamboo hut doesn't collapse on top of them. But he looked me in the eye and said, my biggest hope in life is that my debt is not passed on to my children. We had no idea that there was this whole predatory lending system that was happening under our noses. And we realized it was happening from the buyers of the coconuts. So this was not an economic problem. This was not a moral problem. This was not a motivation problem. This was an economic problem. And we realized if we were going to really tackle the issues with these coconut farmers, and there's about 3.5 million coconut farmers in the Philippines that are experiencing this, we needed to change how we helped the people.
3.5 million? Is that what you just said? Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And half of these 3.5 million are living in extreme poverty, so less than $1 a day, and 90% of them are living below the Philippines poverty line, which is not a lot.
Wow.
And so they're barely surviving. So when a kid gets sick, breaks a leg, or when there's a bad harvest, these coconut buyers offer these predatory loans at interest rates over 200%. And eventually, with their backs against the wall, they either have to sell off the land to pay off the debt, or they have to send a family member far away like Jovi and that's where often trafficking happens. And so we realized we needed to do something different if we really wanted to attack the root of the problem.
And so did you just decide we're going to make Dignity Made? How did that whole need cause you to say, okay, we are going to do this? And is that where Dignity Made was born?
Yeah. From a marketing perspective, all the products that are on your shelf, somebody thought, well, what does the customer really want? And how do I go then find it somewhere in the world to bring it? We started in the absolute opposite place of saying, okay, what do you have? What do you, as the source, these farmers, what do you have that we could build a business around? And they said, well, we have some rice, we sometimes catch fish, and we have coconuts. We're like, well, let's see what we can do with this. And coconuts seem to have the biggest potential. And so we started looking at coconuts. What can we make out of coconuts? And so our kind of flagship product became this raw virgin coconut oil. And we figured out how to make it in a unique way that gives you 4 times the antioxidants. Probably a lot of your listeners are already using it for cooking, baking, skin, and hair. It's a fantastic product for your body. And it's kind of multi-use too. I could tell you a lot about that later. But so we made this unique coconut oil. Wow. And we sell it in the United States as a way to help with fair trade. We are employing over 100 people at the plant. And then we do holistic community development in the whole area that is really, we're seeing incredible transformation in this area of probably about 30,000 people on the seaside villages.
Wow. Because that's hitting on all cylinders. That's hitting on stopping trafficking. That's hitting on not being indebted to these people who are giving loans at a 200%. Man, I'm just so thrilled at what you're doing. And I think for a lot of us, we're hearing this for the first time because we're used to organizations that definitely want to help, and definitely want our support financially and time-wise. We have, incredible organizations that you basically adopt through support a child and watch them grow up and can communicate with them and provide for them. But you have dug in and you've gone a step further. This organization, Dignity Made, reminds me so much of Becky in Nashville, who runs Thistle Farms. It is not only, like you were saying earlier, it's a holistic way of, and a humane way of looking at a problem and looking for multiple solutions. And what I think is so commendable is that you didn't just stop at saying, we did a good job on that initial layer of initially going in. You said you weren't satisfied with the results, and digging deeper, you found out that there was this debt issue. So how did Dignity Made, so when you were doing that, getting all the balls rolling, how did that happen? How did you get farmers involved? How did they come to you? How did all of that logistical stuff start to move?
Well, a lot of this was outside of our experience. We were good at community development, and I'd had the business background, but I had never developed a product before. I didn't know about manufacturing and any of those things. And so we found a lot of people that really helped. We had a few people that had retired from the food industry that helped us navigate FDA regulations, organic certifications, fair trade certifications. I mean, many of these are really difficult. These are 100-page documents that are written. I swear it's not English, because I read it. I'm like, I have no idea what you're saying.
Right.
It's like governmentese or something like that.
Sure.
And so we had a lot of people kind of come around and say, hey, we'll guide you in this process. And it was fun to see some people that they had spent their whole lives doing this one thing. And they were within a few hours, they were able to give us some guidance that would have cost us, beyond what we could have afforded.
Wow.
And so we built in the middle of the jungle. We built this facility for manufacturing. We had a key choice early on of everybody suggested, well, you should build the processing plant in the developed city far away. But our years of community development said, in order to really help people, you need to get proximate to the problem. When you're far away, you miss things.
Right.
And when you live close, you pick up on some of the nuance, and you realize some of the deeper issues. And so we moved into the neighborhood, and we put a facility where, I mean, it was dirt roads. And if it was raining, you had to ford 7 rivers to get to this area.
Wow.
I mean, we had logistics people say, you're crazy for putting it there. I mean, I'll never forget the time that we were bringing cement bags because no cement trucks could get into the area. We were bringing these cement bags to build the walls of our facility, and it had rained.
No.
And our truck was on one side of the river, and we had to get to the other side. And we said, oh gosh, how are we going to do this? So finally, as Americans, we're thinking, well, we're going to have to just come back another day. But the Filipinos said, well, I'll carry these 50-pound bags. And one by one, they carried them across. Well, pretty soon the village kind of heard about what was happening. And they said, why are they doing this? Oh, they're going to create this manufacturing facility for the farmers. Well, hey, we'll help. And they we got enough people that they created like a fire brigade line of about 36 people. And one by one, they're handing these bags over the river to the other side. And then our truck was able to drive through, and we loaded it back up.
Wow. And
so, I mean, pretty miraculously, because we decided to put our facility there, we started getting help from the government and others who said, hey, let's build a road. And so they built this 56-kilometer road in our area that helped with logistics. They built 7 bridges. So if you saw some of our pictures of our humble beginnings, it looked pretty challenging.
Mm-hmm.
But we did it, and now we're right where the farmers are, and we've created a co-op with the farmers. We have some of these certifications that people are looking for, like organic and fair trade, and now we're making a uniquely better product than anything else that's on the market.
See, what's so beautiful about that, as you were saying, the nuance of being there is so important because, I mean, we know that here in America that, this is my hometown. So, look what they're doing in my hometown. And so to have the pride to, create the line to help everybody get the cement where it needed to go, just taking pride in that. You can't buy that. That part of it is just so untangible. You just don't know what that does to their soul and to our soul too, just to see it and watch it. We know what that feels like. We all can relate to that. And so let's talk about the product. This is exciting. So we're taking what they already have. They don't have to go looking for it. This is I'm assuming obviously in abundance because we've got this product. So let's talk about the actual product.
Yeah, we take 88,000 coconut trees and we make our virgin coconut oil. And it has 4 times the antioxidants. It's great for skin, hair, cooking, baking, oil pulling. We have people using it for makeup remover as a natural. We get women who constantly rave about how great of a natural makeup remover it is that also helps reduce wrinkles. And many other things you can find on our website of how to use it. And one of the unique things is we have all of our
look at
farmers
that.
sign the lids of the jars that are being made that day. So you can look up the name of the person. This one's Annalyn, and see, hey, what is her story and what's the impact I'm making on her? And then we started making some natural lip balms because we found a lot of the natural lip balms use coconut oil as an ingredient.
Yes.
We thought, well, hey, we could do that. So we started making those. We found out that you can make soap with coconut oil, and we started adding some of the coconut shell powder into our soap to make natural exfoliating soaps that don't use any plastics. And we have some other products on our website as well. You can find us on Amazon for some of our products and our website for the rest.
This is exciting. And it sounds like, that you're off and running. What are some of the challenges you're facing right now with it? How can we be praying for Dignity Made, just give us some ways that we can be praying for Dignity Made.
The number one thing that comes to my mind is I have a stack of applications of farmers that want to join what we're doing. We have about 218 that we're working with right now. Wonderful, dear families. But I have this stack of others that I have to say no to right now. And I have an equally big stack of people that want to work at our facility to make the coconut oil and other products. And I can't say yes until we grow our sales. And we're not funded by private equity. We don't have big pockets. Everything we've done has just been through word of mouth, through people of saying, hey, I like what you're doing. I'd be proud to have this product. Hey, I already use coconut oil. I'm going to switch to yours or switch to your lip balms and things. And it's just been through word of mouth. It's expensive to do advertising and other things. So the biggest request we would have is, to grow our sales so we can say yes to more of these farmer families.
Okay. So as soon as we finish this podcast, I'm going online and I'm going to go shopping. Okay. So I'm excited to do that because there's something, the dopamine is going right now. Here we go. Let's go shopping. But as far as, let's say, hey, I just want to give to Dignity Made. I'm not a coconut oil user or whatever. Is there opportunities to do that as well on your website?
Yes, there's an opportunity to give to some of the causes. You can find that on the product page, and you can see I think there's 3 different projects that we're looking for funding on.
Okay.
You're welcome to do that. We love that. I think something that helps us, depending on the gift size, often what helps us more is actually buying these as gifts for friends and family. You may not use this much, but you might know teachers, neighbors, friends, family. You might think, hey, I'll buy 10 of these jars and hand them out. Maybe this will be my go-to gift for that baby shower, or that birthday or whatever. Because that also gets the word out and helps others discover who we are. And then those people become regular purchasers of these products.
Right. And I was reading, as I was preparing for our time together today, just the difference. It is a sales, it is a high praise for Dignity Made. But you were saying that some companies use molded coconuts to make coconut oil. Is that true?
Yes, there are 3 types of coconut oils. So whenever you see just coconut oil, that's refined. And in the industry, it's called refined, bleached, and deodorized because they have to refine out all the mold and often bugs that crawl over it.
Wow.
Before it can become something that you could actually put in your mouth. It's bleached because it's a dark yellow color that is very off-putting.
Okay.
And it's deodorized because it stinks. And that's whenever you see just coconut oil or refined coconut oil, that's what you're getting. And I think it's a terrible product. We will never make that product. The next one is a virgin coconut oil. This is probably what most of your listeners are using. And it's a better quality oil. And it's good for all the cooking, baking, skin, and hair. And then we found a new way to make coconut oil that packs a better punch. It just has more benefits in every scoop that you get, no matter how you're using it. And that's because we use a centrifuge, and that the gentle process of separating the coconut milk from the coconut oil, it's a more natural, it's more closer to the original oil.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about what happens when, we've got friends listening right now and they are wanting so badly to grow in their worldview about how we help our fellow man. What happens when we purchase? Like I said, I'm going to go online after we get done and go shopping. When I make that purchase, and you said that, the person packing it has their name on it and the QR code, I can go hear their story. What is the impact when you think about that? One beautiful orange jar of coconut oil. What is the impact for you when you think about it overall with everything that you've walked through with this whole thing? What is the impact?
On a surface level, it's giving people a fair income. It's allowing them to put good food on the table. It's allowing them to build a home that won't collapse on them when the typhoons come. It's allowing them to send their kid to college where, when we first started, less than 1% in the area had any post-high school education. And most dropped out before 7th grade. So it's those, but it's also, it's hope. It's these families. If I could bring you over to where we are in Bicol, Philippines, you'd feel something very different than you felt 10 years ago. There's a sense of, hey, I have choices. I have an opportunity. Whereas before you went to high school just assuming I'm going to be a farmer just like my parents. And my hope is I don't have to sell the farm just to pay, to make ends meet. It was the idea that I have options. And I think that's really when I think about what does dignity mean and why is it so powerful? Part of what dignity means is having choices, having options, and not feeling stuck or trapped.
Wow.
And so that's what I see when I look at our jars. I'll tell you one quick story.
Okay.
When we were first making our first batch of jars, I was with a group of about a dozen women. I was explaining to them that they're going to take this Sharpie marker and they were going to put their name on the lid. And so and they were kind of confused, like, why is my name going on the lid? And they were like, almost like, oh my gosh, why am, and unfortunately, some of them had not learned how to read or write. And so we were actually teaching them how to write their name for the first time. But
Wow.
eventually they're writing their names and giggling starts to erupt. And in the Philippines, they kind of cover their mouth when they're giggling. And these women, they're giggling. And I thought they're giggling about me because, I'm the white guy who doesn't speak Tagalog. And there's a lot of things to laugh about me. And, but I finally said, okay, ladies, what's going on? And one of them finally spoke up and said, Sir Erik, we're told our whole lives that we have nothing, that we are nothing. We're worthless.
Wow.
And when we sign our names on this lid and think about that this jar is going to travel to the other side of the world, and some family in America is going to use this to cook with, bake with, to, put on their baby's skin or something like that. They said, no one's ever done something like this for us.
Wow.
And you could just see the genuine pride that they had on their faces, that they were proud of something that they had created. Yes, we had helped them and they, and we had built it, but we did it together.
Yes.
This was a partnership, and it's so fun to see how proud they are of what they did. And often when I think of, kind of the Genesis story in the Bible, it's this image of co-creation. It's this image of working together to accomplish something that you feel proud of.
Yes. Yes. And it takes a little bit of sweat in there, just a little bit, to carry cement bags and all of that. Erik, this has been incredible time to open our eyes to see a broader picture of the world. Thank you for committing to do this so that we get to be in on it too. What a blessing that is. And we are definitely going to continue to pray that God would bless Dignity Made in every single way. And for you and for your health, that you would stay healthy. I know I'm not the only one that's going to want to go shopping right after this podcast. So tell us one more time how everyone can connect and do a little shopping with Dignity Made.
Yeah, you can find a few of our products on Amazon, and then all of our products are listed at dignitymade.com. You can find us on most of the socials at Dignity Made as well.
Awesome. I so appreciate you taking the time today. Thank you so much, Erik.
Thank you for having me on. This was fun.
Thanks for being here today. I hope that you learned something new, and that heart of yours that God stretches all the time. Maybe you're thinking, I don't think that my road is where I'm wanting to go. And maybe God's tugging at your heart. Maybe something about Erik's story shifted something inside of you. I'd encourage you to pray through that. We make the world a better place. And I know that God is in it. He's got better plans than we do. And thanks for being with us today. Have a great day.